It seems like every season the AP poll manages to find ways to get even worse. Well, they appear to top themselves this past season. I thought it would be fun to take a look back at what the AP preseason top 25 looked like entering the 2022 college football season, and how it compared to the final rankings. Needless to say, it was entirely different. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. I'm posting college football videos all off season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. Also, if there's a topic you'd like to see covered, drop a comment down below and it could turn into my next video. When comparing the first poll with the last, there were a lot of noticeable differences. The first is the fact that there were 15 ranked teams in the preseason poll that weren't ranked in the final AP poll. Teams that were ranked 15 through 25 didn't finish the season ranked aside from one. Obviously, the highest ranked team that fell out of the top 25 was Texas A&M, who began the season ranked number 6. When looking at the biggest whiffs, there were obviously a few, with the biggest being the fact that TCU didn't even receive one vote. Also, Tennessee, who had one of the best seasons in the last few decades, wasn't even ranked inside the top 25. Also, something that stood out to me was the disrespect to the Pac-12, as teams like Washington, Oregon State, and UCLA didn't get enough votes. Those are my instant takeaways from the preseason to the final poll, but let's take a dive into just how bad it truly was. Two teams I briefly wanted to mention are Clemson and Notre Dame. Clemson finished the season winning 11 games, and Notre Dame finished the year winning 9 games, so they weren't really disappointments by any stretch. But considering they were ranked 4 and 5 respectively to start the season and finished the year outside the top 10, yeah, I guess you could say both those two teams were pretty disappointing in 2022. The biggest disappointment is obviously Texas A&M, who began the season ranked number 6. And based on the points, they weren't too far behind being the number 4 ranked team in the country. Well, their season started out strong as they won 3 of their first 4 games, but A&M proceeded to lose 6 consecutive games, falling out of bowl contention. They did win their final 2 games to salvage their season, but talk about a disappointing season for Texas A&M. Now, it's one thing to start the season ranked 6th and maybe not win your conference, it's another to finish under 500 and not even make a bowl game. Not far behind Texas A&M when it comes to disappointment is Oklahoma, who began the season ranked number 9. They finished the season unranked in the AP poll for the first time since 2014. But even then, they still won 8 games that season. For Oklahoma, their 7 losses this past season were the most they've had in a year since 1997. They actually started the season pretty strong as they won their first 3 games and climbed as high as number 6 in the AP poll. But the Sooners went 3-7 the rest of the way and finished the season below 500. After winning the Big 12 in 2021, Baylor began the season ranked number 10. Many people thought they'd be competing for the conference title yet again and would potentially be a playoff sleeper. Instead, they finished the season unranked and finished below 500. They climbed as high as number 9 in the country, but they lost their final 4 games of the season. Oklahoma State was another team that many thought could win the Big 12 as they began the season ranked number 12. They won their first 5 games of the season and were ranked as high as number 7 in the entire country. But their season came to a screeching halt as they were to lose 6 of their final 8 games. It's the first time the Cowboys finished the season unranked since 2019, and their 6 losses were the most in a season since 2018. NC State began the season ranked number 13. For the Wolfpack, it was the first time they had been ranked to start a season since 2003, and it was the highest they'd been ranked to start a season since 1975. They still finished the campaign with 8 wins, so it wasn't all that disappointing, but for a team that many, myself included, picked to win the conference, it was a really forgettable season for them. After winning 11 games and the Peach Bowl in 2021, Michigan State began the season ranked number 15. They climbed as high as number 11 in the AP poll, but their time time there was short-lived, as they had a 4-game losing streak that completely ended their season by the middle of October. Michigan State finished the season losing 7 games, their most in a season since all the way back in 2009. Miami started the season ranked 16th and climbed all the way up to number 13, but a 3-game losing streak and a 2-game losing streak to end their season completely crushed them. Although Miami has been pretty bad in recent years, their 5 wins were their fewest in a season since 2007. For the 6th consecutive season, Wisconsin began the year ranked inside the top 25. But for the 3rd consecutive season, they finished the year unranked. They started the year ranked number 18, and that was actually the highest they'd get all year. They finished the season 7-6, their first time losing 6 games in a season since all the way back in 2012. Their 7 wins were also the fewest they've had in a season since 2008. Arkansas began the season ranked number 19, the first time they had been ranked to start a season since 2015. They also climbed as high as number 10 in the AP poll, the 2nd time in the last 2 seasons they've been ranked inside the top 10. After winning their first 3 games of the season, it looked like they were ready to make a run in the SEC. But after losing 3 consecutive games and 3 of their final 5, Arkansas' season completely unraveled. Kentucky began this season ranked number 20 in the AP poll, and that was a pretty big deal. It was the first time the Wildcats were ranked to start a season since all the way back in 1978. Kentucky was also able to climb all the way up to number 7 in the AP poll, the highest they'd been ranked since 1977. Although they were positioned to have their best season in program history, the Wildcats ended up finishing the season 7-6 and finished the year unranked. For the first time since 2016, Ole Miss began the season ranked in the AP poll. They even climbed as high as number 7, the highest they'd been ranked since they were number 3 back in 2014 and 2015. It looked like they were getting ready to make a run at the SEC as they won their first 7 games, but the Rebels lost 4 in a row to close out the season and 5 of their final 6. Closing out the AP poll were a number of teams that didn't find themselves ranked in the final AP poll: Wake Forest, Cincinnati, Houston, and BYU. Of these final remaining teams, I think the biggest disappointment is probably Houston. I know they started the season ranked number 24, but I honestly thought they would be the best group of 5 team in all of college football. Instead, they finished their season losing 5 games. Well, that wraps it up for today's video. What were your thoughts on the AP poll? Do you pay attention to it, or do you just avoid it because things can severely change on a week-to-week basis? Also, who was the biggest disappointment that was ranked in the first edition of the AP poll last season? Let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you love college football, this is definitely the place for you. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm posting college football videos all off season, so make sure to subscribe if you call yourself a college football fan. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.